Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda, and this is the third of the triathlon I have for you this morning. Uh, I have 5 articles in this episode. Trails, of course, are in the description of the video, so you can pull them up to take a look at whatever you need out of them. Sometimes there's some videos and there's links and things that you can click on to get more information out of these things, and I like to include that so that you stay informed. The first article that I have for you is off of BizPack Review. And it says, busted, Obama takes credit for something he had nothing to do with once again. President Barack Obama is making major public relations blitz to highlight his legacy, including falling reliance on foreign oil to his green energy policies. Obama claimed the U.S. traded foreign oil for clean energy, but what he should have said is that the U.S. traded foreign oil for hydraulic fracturing. Green energy had little to do with it. University of Colorado Boulder professor Roger Pelk quick to call out the president for trying to claim clean energy was responsible for cutting U.S. oil imports. He says untrue. U.S. oil consumption is greater January 2017 than in January of 2009. We traded foreign oil for fracked oil. Pelk's right. Americans used more oil and petroleum products in 2016 compared to 2009. When Obama took office in January 2009, the U.S. consumed more than 590 million barrels of oil, according to Energy Department data. The country used more than 608 million barrels of crude oil in October of 2016. On a more fundamental level, Obama's tweet cites the Energy Information Administration, or the EIA, net oil imports figure of 4.7 million barrels per day in 2015 compared to 11.1 million in 2008. EIA gets its net oil imports figure by subtracting oil exports for imports. So the figure is falling because we're exporting way more oil than before, thanks to booming domestic energy production from hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling into shale formations. Obama doesn't mention fracking in his tweet, but that's probably because his administration has put out regulations for companies using the drilling techniques on federal lands. Has also imposed regulations on methane emissions from oil and natural gas production. Occurred almost entirely on state and private lands, not federal lands. Obama had little to do with booming oil and gas production. Pelk also has a tweet here that says progressives must learn that they will have far more credibility critiquing Trump's propaganda machine if they rein in their own. The next article I have for you is off of UPI.com. Waiting for my little hamster to catch up to me here. I'm working him hard this morning. It says nomination expires for Obama Supreme Court appointee Merrick Garland. It was stolen from Barack Obama. Hamster's jumping. Okay, it was stolen from Barack Obama. The New York Times editorial board said of the empty Supreme Court seat. And we'll get the hamster to work here. Here we go, buddy. Come on, you can do it. Merrick B. Garland on Tuesday joined a small but a distinguished fraternity of prominent U.S. judicial figures appointed to the highest court in the land, only to see the opportunity unceremoniously tossed onto the ash heap of history. President Barack Obama's nomination of Garland Chief Judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. expired at noon Tuesday when the 114th Congress adjourned. And now the hamster's overdoing it. Come on. Gee whiz. Garland's nomination lasted for a total of 293 days, the longest period in Supreme Court history by far, without ever getting a confirmation hearing of any kind. Republicans. The other 3 nominations lasted for longer than 100 days. Louis Brandeis confirmed in 1916 after 125 days. Robert Bork rejected in 1987 after 114 days. And Potter Stewart confirmed in 1959 after 108 days. A moderate liberal judge appointed by the president to serve as an associate justice of the U.S. Supreme Court after the death of Anton Scalia in February. Garland will now remain on the federal appellate bench in Washington. All nominees to the High Court must be approved by the Senate. By Republicans in the upper chamber never even gave Garland that chance. That's this. For nearly a year, they argued that the U.S. voters should decide the next justice by virtue of the candidate they chose to succeed Obama. That choice, the Electoral Colleges anyway. The entire ordeal has been one historical disaster for Democrats. While Garland could potentially be renominated by Trump, that possibility seems remote at best and impossible at worst. I've been clear throughout that the next president would name the next Supreme Court justice. A spokesman for Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, said on Tuesday. Now the president who won the election will make the nomination, and the Senate, the American people just re-elected, will consider that nomination. Critics have argued that the GOP's reason for denying Garland the opportunity amounts to nothing more than partisan posturing aimed at keeping a democratically appointed justice off the bench of the country's highest court. And did to Judge Garland, the Supreme Court, and the Constitution was appalling. Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer, Democrat of New York, that he did not even get so much as a hearing will be a stain on the legacy of the Republican Senate. Last summer, Obama said Senate Republicans were being derelict in their duty by stalling Garland's nomination. Who Trump will nominate to replace Scalia to fill the 9th seat on the Supreme Court, which has operated with just 8 justices for nearly a full calendar year. The vacancy consequently has resulted in some deadlock issues. During the campaign, Trump did issue a short list of potential candidates, including Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, who previously clerked Samuel Alito, and Michigan Supreme Court Chief Justice Robert Young. The Second Amendment is under siege. We need SCOTUS will uphold the U.S. Constitution, Trump said in October. With the expiration of his appointment, Garland became the United States' 29th failed Supreme Court nominee. The last appointee to fail in a Senate hearing was William Mucko, appointed by President Millard Fillmore in 1853. Garland, age 64, is the first failed Supreme Court nominee since Harriet Miers in 2005, second unsuccessful candidate in the last 30 years. Last month, the New York Times editorial board issued a scathing take on Senate Republicans' inaction regarding Garland's candidacy, calling the soon-to-be-filled vacancy a stolen Supreme Court seat for Republicans. Remember one thing above all: the person who gets confirmed will sit in a stolen seat, the board wrote, laying most blame at the feet of McConnell and Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Charles Grassley of Iowa. It was stolen from Barack Obama by the top Senate Republicans, who broke with long-lasting tradition and refused to consider any nominee Mr. Obama might send them because they wanted to preserve the court's conservative majority. Of stalled nomination called for Trump to renominate Garland as the unity measure and means to avoid opening a Pandora's box in the future. It also noted that just 2 Senate Republicans supported hearings or a vote for Garland, Senator Susan Collins of Maine and Mark Kirk of Illinois, and dismissed out of hand the GOP's stalling the appointment. The Republican Party line that it was an election year, so the American people should have a voice in the selection of the next justice, was a patent lie. The people spoke when they re-elected Mr. Obama in 2012, the board wrote. If Republicans an election year blockade Democrats in the future from doing the same. For that matter, why should the party controlling the Senate ever allow a president party to choose a justice? The panel continued. At the very least, Mr. Trump could follow President Obama's example and pick that would be an appropriate gesture from the man who lost the popular vote by more than 2.8 million votes and will enter office with the lowest approval rating in recent history. There's little hope that they will come to their senses. Or try that again. There's little hope they will come to their senses now, but they and Mr. Trump have the power and the obligation to fix the mess they created. Keep in mind that is off the UPI. Quite obviously a liberal agenda there. The next article I have for you of thehill.com, and it says report on warrantless surveillance shows Congress must update privacy laws in a country where individual privacy is not protected, where local police officers can read your text messages without a warrant. Federal officers can trick your cell phone into thinking it's connected to a cell tower when it's really connected to a device that gives Big Brother your location and the telephone number you're calling. Cell phone use is private, and some officers don't need probable cause to track you. Because of an outdated law and devices known as stingrays, it's America today. According to a report released Monday, the Department of Homeland Security and have spent more than $95 million to secretly track cell phones. There are more than 400 stingray devices being used by local, state, and federal agencies. Can be so small they fit in a backpack. Unlike most federal agencies, state and local law enforcement are not getting a warrant to conduct this search of cell phone. Agencies like New York Police Department are using and operating these devices without requiring officers to obtain a warrant supported by probable cause prior to using them. Government can even capture call history, intercept conversations, and store your text messages. The bipartisan U.S. House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, of which I'm a member, has issued 4 recommendations to protect Americans from cell site stimulators to ensure Americans' right to privacy is respected. Include Congress should pass legislation to establish a clear nationwide framework for when and how geolocation information can be accessed and used. DOJ and DHS should make federal funding and/or approval of cell site stimulator technology to state and local law enforcement contingent on a requirement that these law enforcement agencies at a minimum adopt the new and enhanced guidelines that have been by DOJ and DHS for the use of these devices. Law enforcement agencies should, at a minimum, adopt policies for the use of cell site that are equivalent to the new and enhanced guidelines DOJ and DHS have established for the use of these devices. Non-disclosure agreements should be replaced with agreements that require clarity and candor to the court whenever a cell site stimulator has been used by law enforcement in a criminal investigation. I applaud this year-long investigation into what is clearly a violation of the Fourth Amendment. One way we can address these issues is by passing the Fourth Amendment Integrity Restoration, otherwise known as FAIR, F-A-I-R, and the Stingray Privacy Act. These bills were introduced in the last legislative session, and I will be working with my colleagues to reintroduce them. These bills would ensure all federal, state, and local agencies using stingray devices obtain a warrant based on probable cause, because local law enforcement agencies receive stingray devices from the federal government. They would require these local and state agencies to conform to federal guidelines. I will also begin working with my colleagues in the 115th session to reintroduce the Online Communications and Geolocation, which amends the Federal Criminal Code to prohibit a government agency from intentionally intercepting geolocation information or disclosing it without a warrant. Internet and cell phone users from a broad, outdated law allowing the government to conduct warrantless surveillance. It is very clear and that Americans have the right to be free from unreasonable, and the warrantless use of stingray devices is no exception. With the oversight investigation completed, it is time to stop police departments from having access to such technology unless these agencies can prove the need for conducting the search. Is written by Representative Blake Farenthold, in his fourth term in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's a member of the Oversight Government Reform Committee. The next article is off of Right Wing News. Tongue gets tied up on some of these. The name of the article is Buckingham Palace Makes Sad Announcement About the Queen. I heard a few days ago that Queen Elizabeth is suffering from a severe cold. Princess Royal is assuring everyone that the Queen is much better, but worry abounds as she has missed her family at church on Christmas Day, which has not happened in 28 years, for the second Sunday in a row, which is highly unusual. Her subjects and people around the world are extremely concerned. You can imagine Prince Charles as king. The horror. He's a liberal's liberal, and I suspect he may have converted to Islam some time ago. An unmitigated disaster as a king. Per Wikipedia, Queen Elizabeth II is present sovereign, and her apparent is her eldest son, Charles, Prince of Wales. Next in line after him is Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, and Prince of Wales' elder son. Prince George of Cambridge, the son of the Duke of Cambridge, followed by his sister, Princess Charlotte of Cambridge, Harry, formerly Prince Henry of Wales, the younger son of the Prince of Wales. 4 individuals in the line of succession who are 21 years or older, and the sovereign's consort may be appointed counselors of state. Counselors of state perform some of the sovereign's duties in the United Kingdom while he or she is out of the country or temporarily incapacitated. And the line of succession need not have specific legal or official duties, though members of the royal family often do. The graph states the Princess Royal has moved fears about the Queen's health. She was feeling better despite missing church at Sandringham for the second successive Sunday. Concerns for Her Majesty have been growing since prevented her from joining the royal family at church on Christmas Day, the first time in 28 years she has missed the service. Her absence from New Year's Day service came after Buckingham Palace announced she does not yet feel ready to attend church as she is still recuperating from a heavy cold. She has enjoyed such robust health throughout her life that this is rare for her to miss any public appearance. Absence has led to speculation around the world about the extent of her illness. Family members usually do not comment on the Queen's health. Was feeling the Princess Royal smiled and said, better. Her husband, Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, was asked the same question and said, not too bad. How's that for vague? The Queen has not been seen since December the 9th when she attended a function at Buckingham Palace. She will not now be seen in public until at least next Sunday, when she will again be due to attend St. Mary's Magdalene Church, 400 yards from Sandringham House. If she attends the church, it will be the first time in a month that she has been seen in public. Royal sources say that she is up and about. Healthcare officials are claiming there is a nasty strain of the cold making the rounds, and it takes about 3 weeks to get over it. They say it is akin to bronchitis. The Queen first started feeling ill before Christmas, canceling her planned train journey to Sandringham from London on December the 20th. Most in Britain just hope she is recovering and will be back at it soon. the rest of the world feels that way too, and prays for her speedy recovery. May she outlive Prince Charles seriously. And the final one I have is for my astrology. I thought you would enjoy this. This is off of themindunleashed.com, and it says Rare Astrology, January 7th through February the 6th of 2017. All planets are moving direct. Starting January 7th and going through February the 6th, 2017, all of the major planets will be moving direct forward. Ancients saw this as a time of great fortune and very opportune time. Stephanie Wave Forrest is the first known astrologer first to publish articles, teach online courses, and present slideshow lectures on both the occurrence and potential of all planets in direct motion, or the APDM. Wave states, now here in this moment, from our geocentric view, our entire solar system moving together in the same direction, like a flowing cosmic river, all traveling towards this one direction, from the position of the sun or Earth's perspective. All planets in direct motion represent an organic, holistic, synchronous, harmonious group passage through the endless universe. Cycle is definitely one of hope for future. It's uniquely a time where the Earth's perspective becomes like the sun, where the vibration of the solar system can provide extraordinary kind of cosmic assistance to any endeavor created to benefit rather than to hinder human life on Earth, where the whole planet can be energized by cosmic fuel rather than by fossil fuels. The auspicious timing of APDM 2017 is recommended by astrologers for successful mergers, marriages, large acquisitions, charity events, physical operations, inaugurations. I'll say that again, inaugurations, launch a new business, birth a new president, and anything else where one desires positive result. APDM is furthermore considered to be a time when the universe is in a state of natural order, with all the planets are traveling forward. This time period, which lasts almost a month, is started off by Mercury stationed direct and will end with Jupiter stationing retrograde on February the 6th of 2017. So what then is the meaning of Mercury starting off the APDM in January? Wave writes this: let us borrow some phrases for a moment from the schismatic astrology perspective, where Mercury is symbolized as quick, versatile planet that can easily traverse the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world in just one instant. It doesn't stay for long in any of the realms, as it is mostly a guide, temporarily, an information seeker, and a messenger between the realms. How about the meaning of Jupiter ending the APDM in February? Wave states this: Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and Mercury, before it stations direct, will be in the sign of Sagittarius. So right away, we see a symbolic celestial correspondence between the two. Both Mercury and Jupiter experience an enhanced energy of the other. Note also that Jupiter opposes Uranus through the entire APDM event, which may spark a sudden, totally unexpected Uranus and huge Jupiter altercation, or possibly even a physical resonance shaking up forces of the Earth. Without a doubt, this APDM 2017 and every single one of the next APDM events leading up to 2022 compels us to employ our best collective focus to assess the promise for birthing a new world, a new nation, and a new life. We are encouraged to be eyewitnesses and to use this timing with deep intent for personal and world advantages. We imagine with all our hearts and souls the most positive, outrageously wonderful environment for ourselves and for our communities and for all to benefit. The spiritual message of APDM always remains the same: a cosmic event carrying the potential greatness. The easiest way to shift the current global environment of power and financial inequity is to use our imaginations together in a huge collective simultaneous meditation. The mystical intent of APDM is world peace and abundance for all. This is exactly how we keep the dream alive, our collective dream for international peace and well-being for everyone, where we each have more than enough to share. We recite our APDM manifesto meditations daily, and we collectively work to assist the evolution of consciousness to move forward, keeping in mind that the timing of our intent is naturally backed up by the planets moving in direct motion. With that in mind, we have created an event on Facebook that details the plan for a synchronized meditation each day throughout the near month-long APDM time period. The meditation will begin each day at 1 p.m. Mountain Time and go for 30 minutes. If you are not able to make that time work, please do not worry and simply meditate or pray whenever you're able to make it. Use this time to visualize your dream, wishes, and intentions, as well as visualizing and intending peace and abundance for all. Because Facebook only allows events to take place for a maximum of 2 weeks at a time, you notice that the event says it goes from January 7th to the 21st. Note that we will create another event on here which will run the remainder of all planets in direct motion time from January 22nd to February the 6th. And there's a link you can click on to find the event in this article if you pull it up and take a look at it. It says, please share widely and let everyone know about this rare astrological event who might be interested. Throughout the APDM 2017, which lasts about 30 days, there are several dates that cause global triggers stimulating earthly and personal events. These dates add cosmic complexities to the APDM. And if you want to find out more about these extra solar system triggers, you can sign up for a unique newsletter at allplanetsdirect.com and learn more about the Waves astrological services that she provides. You can also like and follow the All Planets Direct Facebook page. There's a link to that in this article. So there's that information for you, and that concludes the trifecta of this morning's shows. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it around so that everybody on your social media can enjoy it as well and learn what the news is. And be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. And click that bell beside that subscribe button and check that box so you get the email messages every time I come up with a show. Have a great day.